Good evening, America. This is the Big Red One guy reminding you that together we must break the machine. Well, I'm back this week. I went live last night, so I was a little bit under the weather last week and had some medical issues that I had to take care of. So far, I got a clean bill of health, so that's a good thing. Well, tonight we're going to talk about one of my favorite characters in the world, Vladimir Zelensky. He's got some shit going on in the Ukraine right now that's not really good for him. So, he's a clown and fucknut, and we're gonna get into a little bit about him tonight of what's going on. Uh, there's an article from the Gateway Pundit, and let's get into it. Says Ukraine Zelensky orders purge of the Department of State protection after members arrested for alleged assassination plots. Yeah, this guy's on borrowed time right now. As the war situation gets more difficult by the day, and against the background of his expired presidential mandate in May, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has his reasons to be worried about being driven out of power the hard way. I believe he suspended elections in Ukraine, and his term is supposed to be up this year. To prevent this outcome, the embattled leader is ordering a complete purge of the Department of State protection after members were arrested on suspicion of plotting assassinations. Yeah, his own people are getting ready to murk his ass. President Vladimir Zelensky told the new chief of Ukraine's State Guard service to clear its ranks of people, discrediting it after two of its officers were accused of plotting to assassinate senior officials. State Security Service, also known as the SBU, said last month that it had caught two Guard service colonels accused of cooperating with Russia to plot the assassination of Zelensky and other officials, including military intelligence chief uh, Kirilo Budanov. I hope I said that right. Says the Guard service provides security for various government officials. Yeah, we're not even gonna go too far into this because he's a fucking putz, this dude. Uh, so unless you've been living under a rock or in the mountains of, a cave somewhere in the mountains of freaking Tibet, the Himalayas, we Russia and Ukraine have been at war for a little bit over 2 years. Okay. And one of the things we as a nation have done is we've given this ass maggot, Vladimir Zelensky, $175 billion of American taxpayer dollars. Okay. And he's not getting all the money. Let's just be clear. The money's now the oligarchs in Ukraine, because there are plenty of oligarchs in Ukraine. Ukraine's a very corrupt country. They're just as bad as Russia. Vladimir Zelensky is not some sort of force for democracy or anything like that. He is exactly just like Putin. He's Putin light. Okay, this guy has persecuted his political enemies and arrested them and stuff like that. He's gone after Christians. I believe he suspended elections this year. They were supposed to have re-elections this year because the Ukrainian president, I believe, does 5 years, unlike ours, who does four. I'm not sure. I kind of have to look into that. I thought I read that somewhere that he may have actually. So yeah, allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly because I have to kind of look into that a little bit more. But what you need to know is that this guy's a clown. Okay. You see him all the time. He's been on the news over the last couple of years, begging for money, begging the EU to give him more money, which they're not really supporting him like we are. Okay, we're holding him up because you got to understand that our president is beholden to him. Okay, he has the secrets on the Biden family and all the money that Hunter Biden made with Burisma, a Ukrainian natural gas company, and so right now this is just a huge money laundering operation going on. What happens is our ineffective Congress and Senate sign a bill that's created to give this fool money. Okay, they get it to the president, and you know, the president signs it into law, and then they send money over to this guy. But the money doesn't really, not all the money actually gets to him. So what happens is the money goes to the military industrial complex here in the United States. Okay. Or whatever other, I'm not sure if we're dealing with any foreign military, um, what do you call it, companies that make military products. I'm not sure. I would have to look into that a little deep, but I know for sure that American companies are making money on this. American military industrial complex companies are making money. Okay, so the way it works is President signs this bill, the money gets, one of the reasons why inflation is high is because we keep doing shit like this. The money gets sent to the military industrial complex. Okay. They go ahead and they make everything they need, and then they send the stuff. The stuff gets delivered over to Ukraine. Now, one of the things that goes on here in the United States is all our congressmen and senators that are tied into the military industrial complex that all have bought stock into these companies, they get richer. So every time we sign one of these bills into law and the money goes to these companies, our congressmen and senators get richer because their stock goes up. More money gets put into it, the value of the stock for these companies go up. Boeing, what do you mean? I'm sorry, Lockheed Martin, uh, you know, I don't think McDonnell Douglas even exists anymore, but anyway, companies like that, Raytheon, all those companies that make the stuff for our troops, okay, we're making the stuff and sending it over to the Ukraine. Now, there is a portion of that that goes over to the Ukraine. It's supposed to go for law enforcement, for their border security. We don't take care of our border, but we're going to send money over there to take care of Zelensky's border. So that's not necessarily happening, obviously, because they don't have any real border control right now because they're getting their asses kind of handed to them by the Russians. Okay. And a lot of that money has kind of made it over to the oligarchs over there, and they're doing everything from like opening nightclubs to you name it. Okay, there was a report recently. I forgot who did it. It might have been the Epic Times who did it. uh, they literally went over there and they videotaped the nightlife in Kiev, which is supposed to be a war-torn country, right? But it's not really. The whole country's not under duress by by the Russian forces. So what you need to understand is that this schmuck Vladimir Zelensky, okay, because that's what he is. He's a rat fuck bastard. He's just as bad as Putin. Okay, he's done all the same shit that Putin has done, just on a smaller scale. Okay, and Putin is not our friend either. The Russians are not our friends. The issue right now is that for whatever reason, we're trying to make this country a NATO country after we made deals with the Russians after the fall of the Soviet Union, not to press eastward, okay? And we did it anyway. Why? Because, well, we're the United States and we just say we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. So Putin kind of got pissed off and he's like, fuck this. And he went after Ukraine. There's a thing that has gone on between them for a very long time, between the Russians and the Ukrainians for quite some time. There's no love lost between them. Now, it's unfortunate that the Ukrainian people are the ones that are suffering through all of this because they have corrupt leadership that, won't come to the table to sign any kind of ceasefire or anything like that. He just wants more money, more money, more money. And we keep getting ourselves closer and closer to World War III. Uh, they just hit I believe some Russian beachgoers on one of the beaches with American-made missiles that happened over the weekend. I have to get into that, and I'll probably do a video on that in the next day or two because I got to kind of look into that a little bit more. I'm not sure all the details of that, but anyway, I just want to let you know that America's most famous welfare recipient, his days are numbered. They're trying to off this guy. His own people are getting tired of him. They want this shit to end. The people who actually want to stop the war and aren't making any money off of it, because like I said, the oligarchs over there are making money, and nothing we do to try to stop the Russians has stopped them, and they're just doing shit indefinitely. And right now, the Ukrainian people are the ones that are hurting. They're conscripting old men, women, people with disabilities, you name it. Everybody's getting conscripted to fight in the front lines. It's bad. It's not a good situation over there, and we spent about $175 billion on this war. It's a proxy war against Russia that we really didn't need. And again, a lot of that money is not going to where it's supposed to. And most of it, like I said, goes to the military industrial complex here. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update on our boy Zelensky over there in Ukraine. It looks like his people are looking to try to murk his ass. So he wiped out his protection because he can't even trust his protection forces. Okay. The State Department over there, he can't afford to turn a blind eye to anything. That motherfucker has to keep his eyes open for everything because it's coming to the point where the Ukrainian people want this shit to end, and his days are probably numbered. Again, I'm not sure if he suspended the elections this year, so I heard that somewhere. I'll look into that a little bit more and get back to you. It's just alleged that that's something that he did. If anybody knows if he did it or not, just drop it in the comments and add some information to what I just gave you. Anyway, everybody, have a good night tonight, and God bless you all. God bless America. I'm the big red one guy signing out, and always remember that together we must break the machine. Good night, America.